let's get into today's topic. That's amazing. Well, I am going to say a quick prayer and then we're going to cool.
Let it rip.
Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this time of coming together and just being able to speak openly. I pray that it is just an amazing call and that those who need to receive something from this call, Lord. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
And so, the reason I wanted to have this conversation is one of my main goals is to heal the hearts of mankind. And I've been realizing a pattern over the last, uh, I guess, years, just through my own experience and through the experience of others. And one of the questions that has often come up is this idea that men have a hard time sharing emotions, showing emotions, and some people even say that men don't have emotions. So, if I asked you, do you believe that men are emotional? What would you say?
I would say yes, men are emotional. 100%.
How do you believe that they show their emotion? I mean, it's not the same as how women show their emotion. So, how do you believe that men show their emotion?
No, no, definitely not how women do it. Women are much more, they're open. Men are more bottled up, if I can say. A lot of times, well, you know what? I won't speak for men in general. I'll speak for me. How's that?
Yes.
So what I do, like a lot of times, I do feel the burn of emotion. I do feel the urge to cry, uh, scream, what have you. But I won't really do it out in the open. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, for whatever reason, like I know we as men, like we feel like if we are seen as crying, it gives off the scent, if you will, that it shows like weakness. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, so I usually just do it in private. You know what I mean? Um, I had an uncle, one of my favorite uncles. He passed away back in 2009. And I held the tears like at his funeral, and I held the tears so hard I didn't want to be seen crying. But when I got to my lonesome in my room, I let it all out.
But, like, I mean, hey, sorry for your uncle's loss, for the
Mm,
loss of people.
thank
But
you.
if you're at a funeral where it's acceptable to cry, why would you not cry?
I just didn't want to be seen crying. I didn't want to. I it's hard to explain. I didn't want to be seen as weak. I wanted to be strong for my family. Strong for because he's my father's brother. So I want to be strong for him. My grandparents who was alive at the time. I didn't want to just ball out, if that makes sense.
Yes. I mean, I guess. I mean, it's not the same. Like, 'cause and I know there are women who don't cry. Me, I'm, some would say like overly emotional. Like, I cry if I'm angry. I cry if I'm happy. I share my emotion. You gonna know how I'm feeling because I express that. But I also know that there's not a lot of people who have been privileged to be able to express that. And so, like I said, my search or my question is about men and emotions. Like, what causes them to be so emotionally stuck? Um, and if you view that as like a hindrance, or do you think, well, that's just how men are created and that's just what it is?
I believe it's both. Like it's just I feel like it's a part of our genetic makeup. We just want to be strong. We don't want to be seen as weak and what have you. You know what I mean? Um, so I feel in that way it is a hindrance because um we learn later on, that it's okay to cry, it's okay to show your emotions, it's okay to show a tear or two. You know,
Who taught you that? Who taught you that it was okay to cry?
um, we have pastors. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I've had several pastors that spoke about that behind the pulpit. Um, and even thank God, my own mother. Just having conversations with her. She's a woman, obviously, and women are, as what you said, like they're more open. So to have somebody who was open, who shows the emotions, tell her son, it's okay, it's all right, like you're a man, it's okay to show your emotions. You got the men typically have the weight of the world on their shoulders, and it's okay, like you can't hold everything in, you know. So from listening to my mother and even my male pastors,
I can't hear you.
I said it's okay. Like basically from talking to my male pastors and even my mother, I've learned that it's okay. Did you hear that part?
Yes, yes, but you're moving a little bit too much. So yeah.
My bad. My fault.
Stay still. We can get
All
this
right, stay still. Sit still. Sit still.
other mother part of me. Just like okay, so we're talking a bit, and I was asking you about friends. I asked you about a specific friend. You ain't gotta say the name, but you were telling me about a situation that I thought was quite interesting. So you said that in the you had talked to a friend, and whatever season they were in, they ended up putting you down to make them feel better. Um, so
Mhm.
in how that happened, I mean, could you say over like what was said so like people have like a better context of it?
Yeah, sure. So we were having a conversation. And it was my first time talking to him in a little while. At that point, it's probably a good 3 weeks, close to a month. So we was just talking. Uh, and I really just don't remember what we was talking about. But in the course of the conversation, I think I said something, and then he was just like, I don't even know why I bother talking to you. And I'm just like, what? It's coming from? And he was
Mm.
like, well, I'm sorry.
Continue.
Yeah. So he was just like, yeah, I don't even know why I bother talking to you. And I'm just like, where is this coming from? And he's just like, well, I'm in school, I'm in college, I'm doing better for myself. What are you doing with your life?
Ooh.
As if to say, I'm moving up, and I'm talking to somebody who's not really doing anything. So why am I bother? And I'm just like, wow. So you think I'm nothing? You know what I'm saying? Like you think I'm beneath you. At least that's how that made me feel.
Hmm.
So um
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask you like how did it make you feel, but you just said, is there anything else that kind of like hit you in that moment? Because I mean, this is supposed to be your friend, right?
yeah, he was a really, really good friend of mine. He was like one of my closest friends. And it just made me feel, well, by him it made me feel like unvalued. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It made me feel uh unwanted, you know. And then on top of that, it made me feel angry, very, very angry. Like I wanted to cuss him out from A to Z. Uh, I wanted to lay his behind out. Um, on the outside, I was like, okay, well, um, I don't know where that's coming from. Congratulations! I'm glad that you're in school. I'm glad that you're bettering yourself. And then I went on to another topic. But on the inside, I was screaming and burning on the inside.
So like, what made you not address it?
I never addressed it. I
I
just
well, like, why didn't you address it?
because at that moment, I felt like I got a taste of how he really feels about me. Um, and I felt like at that point, it's no point in arguing. Because we have a mutual best friend who had passed away. Which about
Mhm.
Paris Bowens. And in talking to him, he taught me basically you have to go to where you're celebrated. Don't go where you're tolerated. Go where you're celebrated. And once that happened with this friend that we're talking about now, I didn't bother addressing it because it's like, okay, this dude, he doesn't really he feels this way about me. So rather than just let him know how I feel, rather than just going through all of this, going back and forth, analyze it, look at it for what it is, and move on. Leave it alone. Let it go. And I felt like at that point, I had to let it go because it was gonna do nothing but burn on the inside and fester and whatever. So I had to forgive him immediately. I had to forgive him. I
Did
had to forget about it and just put him where he belongs. You know what I mean? So
I mean, did you forgive though?
I did. I just didn't forget.
Okay, so like, what did forgiveness look like to you?
Forgiveness, it just looks like not being angry, not not being angry despite how it made me feel, despite how angry it made me feel. But it's just taking a hard look at it for what it is, and I felt as though he was hurt. He was hurting because he was in a situation in his marriage. I won't spew that, but
Yeah, don't be spilling out his whole business, but
no, no, definitely not, definitely not. But because of
like,
that situation, because of that situation, I knew that he was hurting, and the old mantra goes, "Hurt people, hurt people." You know what I mean? So rather than just fuss and fight and argue about that, just look at it for what it is. It's like, okay, he's not in a a good place. He's pretty much just letting out his anger, and unfortunately, he's letting it out on me. Um, but I knew that he wasn't letting it out on everybody.
right,
So so I just had to understand and look at it for what it was. I obviously didn't mean anything to him, and it's okay. Like, you're not gonna mean something to everybody, in this life. You just gotta move accordingly. And if you learn to do that, your life will be much better because you can't hold in anger, you can't hold in frustrations and things. But you know what I'm saying, like, because people, um, let me say, how can I put this? People will treat you as they perceive you. The way that they view you is how they're going to treat you, and they do it subconsciously. So you just have to look at it for what it is. Okay, he treated me this way because this is how he views me. Now I have to go left. If he goes up, I go down. If he goes left, I go right. You know what I mean? Like, I have to leave that situation.
right. So would y'all still like do you see like would it be worth it to continue talking to him, or you just like, nah, I'm gonna just cut my losses and move on?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much where I'm at. As far as like cut my losses and move on. I mean, I guess, like, would I be against having a conversation with him? No.
Like, if he hit you up tomorrow, what you gonna say?
Ah,
Or you gonna leave it red?
cola, cola, cola.
You say you
Um,
forgave, right? So if he hits you up tomorrow, what you gonna say?
ah, I would definitely. Yeah, if he hits me up tomorrow, I feel like something would have to be said. Like, if he wants to continue to be my friend, we would have to talk about that conversation.
Nah, like, okay, so let's say he hits you up and he's like, "Hey, what's up? How's it going?" And just like
Right. If
that,
he, yes, we would still have to. I would have to talk about that.
you be like, "Oh, so like last time, like bring it back
Yeah,
up."
I would bring that up. I'm like, okay, so now you want to talk to me after how you know what I mean? And I would go into that. But if he doesn't hit me up, I'm not. It's not gonna make no never mind to me. If that makes sense.
It is, but your hands over the mics.
Yes, it is. It was. That's why I
I
figured. I said if he hits me up, I'll definitely um I'll talk to him about that and how that made me feel. But if he doesn't, it's not gonna make no never mind to me. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna worry about it. But if he wants to continue being my friend, yeah, we would have to talk about that.
Okay, interesting. I mean, that's fair. I know some people who like if they understand that somebody's situation, they would be after a few months they'd reach out and just like, "Hey, you good? Like last time you said kind of like some messed up stuff, but how's it going out, right?" But that also takes a different type of You'd have to want to do that to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's so much easier just to walk away and just to be like, well, they'll hit me up when they feel ready, and they may never do that.
Well, and that's how I am. I'm not really. I'm very non-confrontational. So if we don't talk about it, you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to go out of my way to discuss something. You know, like I said, I'll look at it for what it is, and then I'll go my way. But should they come up to me, and even if they just come up to me talking about other stuff like it never happened, then I would have to, hey, bruh, you like you talking to me like nothing ever happened. What's going on? You said this, and this. What's up?
Hmm.
I would do it, but if they don't hit me up again, then it is what it is. Like I've learned that I don't really need closure.
Okay, that's good because I know a lot of people need closure. Like a lot of people are like, well, if they don't like come back to me, if they don't say anything, then it just holds them in a pattern. And so I find, even a situation that I went through earlier this year, I had to tell God like, yeah, I may never get an answer, and I'm gonna just have to be okay with that. Like I'm gonna have to forgive them as if I may never understand why they said that or why they did that. And I think it's a very powerful stance to take because we're only in control of our own emotions, our own
Hmm.
feelings, our own life, right? We got to take control of our life in certain
Absolutely.
ways. And one of that is by putting up boundaries that people ain't gonna play us like boo boo the fool. And that forgiveness is really powerful because what it does, it lets you to, it allows you to just be free and not hold on to nothing. That you're not sitting there holding up this person. So like in that example, that person actually did come back before the end of the year and apologize. And the one thing I had told God is I'm like, I'm so happy that I had forgiven prior to, because not that I'm not grateful for the apology, but I didn't need it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm,
it wasn't like that now I have a weight lifted off of me because I'm like I wasn't holding it.
absolutely.
Wasn't holding it. It was nice, yes, to get an apology, but I wasn't holding on to it so much that it warranted or needed an apology. And I think that's something really important for us to know as just like human beings as we're maneuvering through this world, that we're going to meet on people, sometimes really crappy people, other times people who are really close to us, but they hurt us because they're going through a season. They don't know how to navigate the season. And
Yeah,
so, um, it's for us to understand where we are, how we are with self awareness and our emotions and managing that, and just being able to create a life that is healthy for ourselves.
absolutely, absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
So, I'm not going to bring this on too much further because I do appreciate the conversation. I do want to keep these kind of short. You know what I mean? Like, I really like I said, having conversations. I want to know men's thoughts and opinions on emotions, emotional intelligence. Wait, do you know what emotional intelligence is?
Um. Well, I don't know per se, but I guess if I can make sense of it, emotional intelligence is what being able to keep them in check.
Keeping them in check, your emotions.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. It is
Okay.
the to understand your emotions, understand, manage, own. So yeah, like that's the simplest term to like keep them in check. You have to be able to know what you're feeling. Like this is anger, this is that. And it sounds like maybe complex to some, maybe very simple to others, but like it's something that a lot of people lack.
Hmm.
Like a lot of people lack it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like you see similarly how put yourself in somebody else's shoes and understand, well, this is the emotion they're showing me, but like what's the root cause of this? Then there's a potential that we have better understanding of people. There's a chance that we have a better understanding of ourselves and how to navigate the world. And so I love when I started learning about emotional intelligence because I've always been pretty self-aware. And yeah, I would love to just like have conversations with people about their own level of emotional intelligence, where they sit. Are they the laid back type? The type to not get mad? Are they the type to just like let things just run over on them, or are they the aggressive type? The ones like, nah, ain't nobody getting nothing on me. You know what I mean?
Mm.
People who don't show their emotions. And so I think it was pretty cool. Uh, Obviously, from what we've talked about, you understand emotions, um, but you're doing the thing that society has taught you, which is I'm gonna hold my emotions to myself until I am by myself to share it. Like I'm not gonna look like no punk in society. Correct.
Yeah, that's pretty much what. Yeah. Hmm.
And the thing about that is, how do you think that would fare when you're in a relationship?
It wouldn't. And I know it's also a toxic trait. Um, I believe. Because the other person involved doesn't like they're not going to be able to know or understand what what you're going through or what you're feeling if you keep it bottled up or if you just want to wait until you're by yourself to let everything out, and in a way it kind of, it doesn't give them a chance to get to know you. You know what I
Correct.
mean? And how you feeling and how you process things and your like how you think about certain things. Like they're not going to really know. It's almost like you're hiding that aspect from them.
Hmm. Do you remember? We had a conversation one time. I forget what it was. I'm pretty sure I was mad at you. Pretty. Uh,
When weren't you mad at me?
this is very true. This is very true. I, you lived a life that just things you did irked me. Um, but I remember the specific day because I know where I was sitting. I was sitting in a car having this conversation with you, and I was like trying to go over like, okay, so what about this? And then like, what about this? Like, why would you like? I think you had gotten in your feelings about something, but like, what gave you the right to get in your feelings? And you just weren't expressing yourself. Like you were trying to say it, but like I ended up having to like lay
oh,
it
oh
out.
yeah, you had to beat it up out of me.
You remember it, right?
Yeah, I remember. I remember. I remember. Ah,
Because in that situation, I was annoyed because I was very self aware of what was happening. I was very conscious of what was happening to the point that I had to spell it out for you to make you also conscious of what was happening and why I was justified for being mad at you. And it was like, that was a lot of work on my side.
right, 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 right.
Like instead of you just being okay, I get it, and you just like taking the time to process and coming back with a solution, I come up with the okay, this is what happened, this was the problem, and I think this is a solution going forward. Like,
Hmm. But I feel like that's women in general.
but it
Um, like
be
Yeah, because like if you guys are mad at us, you want us to know. First of all, you want us to know that you're mad. Then you want us to know why you're mad, and then you want to make sure that we know that. You know what I'm saying? Like you want us to make sure that we understand what we did that caused you to be mad. Like it's just all those different things at one time. Um, and a lot of times we just um
so. How would you handle that situation differently? Besides just not making me mad in the first place, how would you handle that situation differently?
how would I handle that situation differently? Well, it goes back to what I said a few minutes ago. When if you like on the flip side, when a man hides his emotions and he bottles them up, it's hard for the woman to understand and to get to know how he thinks and feels. Blah 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 blah. Right now, in this situation that we're talking about, you were letting me know how you felt and why you felt this way and all these different things. So
Wait, pause. Because I mean, I'm like, I know we're talking about it, but it's kind of like an inside joke because we know why the situation happened. Do you remember what it was?
no, I just remember that you had to beat it up out of me. I don't remember exactly. No, I don't. I don't. But I remember like you like I felt like I was beating around the bush. I wasn't telling you. I wasn't like specific, but you wanted me to be specific.
Yes.
And I wasn't. Yeah, I remember that. I just don't remember what it was.
I know something you didn't do.
It
Something
was something that I didn't do. It was something that I was supposed to do, but I
for
didn't do it.
what?
Right? Like, was it something that I was supposed to do, but I didn't do?
Most likely that was your pattern back then.
Yeah, yeah. I'll take that. I'll eat that up.
But
But what it was, I totally don't remember.
that's right. We established it was something that you just didn't do. Um, and you weren't being direct with me about it, that I had to be direct. I had to figure out what was this. And then when I asked you, is it this? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, well, why does it take me doing all that? Anyways, back to what I was saying. What would you have done differently in that situation?
Right. So I was trying to say, so because you let me know how you felt and blah 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 blah, I now have to program myself to do the opposite of what I've done.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So now in that situation, um, be really really specific, be detailed. You know what I mean, and just express myself, get it over and done with. Boom, problem solved, and we can come up with a solution together. Now that we put everything on the table, you know, we can go on from there. Frustration on my part, there's no frustration on your part, or the parties involved, whatever the case may be. You
So
know,
you think you've learned from this situation?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
I mean, that's good. It's not me asking if you learned. It's not even like, did you learn your lesson? But like, now we always want to make sure that when we're encountering people, or we don't have to. This is what I do. I make sure that when I encounter people and I go through things, that I'm actually taking something away from it, so that I can become a better person. Because what is the point of me going through life, going through experiences, and being the same damn way? It doesn't work.
it doesn't. You have to grow at some point, and if you're not growing, that's a big problem, a very very big problem.
Yeah, and here's the kicker. Me and you, we just friends, right? And so, if that's my experience with you as a friend, imagine when you're in a relationship and how much more that would be like a pain or a hurt to somebody.
And indeed, 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 it'll be definitely like a frustrating time. You probably wanting to pull your hair out, you know,
Hmm.
and we can't have that. We can't have you bald headed out here.
Not like that. Not for that reason. Not open up.
Yeah, yes, not for that reason. If you want to go ahead and looking like Erica Badu or Jada Pinkett Smith, that's you got it, but not because of stress and frustrations. Yes,
Not over no man. That's for sure.
that's a fact.
That's for man. Anyways, hey, so the question I want to ask you is, what does it feel like, look like, or like what is it when you say you cry in private?
What does it look like? So, for instance, I had a girlfriend, who had a daughter, and we was going through it. She kept, you know, talking to other guys, entertaining other guys, making me feel like crap in the process. And, right then and there, I didn't, I mean, I dealt with it the best way that I could, but I felt like I was fighting a losing battle. So the only thing I could do was just go home, shut myself in my room, and just cry. Literally, just cry my eyeballs out until I didn't have any tears to cry left, until I didn't have any strength to cry. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
If that makes sense, let's get it all out. Punching pillows, punching my bed. Um, I even punched like the ceiling of my car, like the roof of my car. I punched it and I put a dent in it. You know what I mean? Uh, because I was so angry and upset.
Hmm.
Um, but crime was probably the best thing that I could do.
I mean,
Otherwise, everything was going
you
to
ain't
get
put
damaged.
hands on nobody, so that's good.
Huh?
I said you ain't put no hands on nobody, so that's good.
No, and I wanted to. I wanted to put my hands around that child's neck. But yes, 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 I didn't put my hands on nobody. Lord have mercy.
Sir. Okay.
I'm being honest, like we're having an honest conversation,
That's
right?
the point. I need you to be honest. That's how you honestly felt. Because I'm like, when I think of crying in private, some people they just go and they just, after they're done, it felt like a release. Did you at least feel better when you were done?
Yes, yes, it ended up being therapeutic, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't talking to anybody. I wasn't venting, because a lot of times when I would vent to people, they would disagree, and the way that she's going about it is wrong. She's acting like this because of you. She's cheating because of you. Like, rather than talking to anybody and venting, I just went by myself and I just let it out, and it ended up being therapeutic. I hope that makes sense.
Of course.
Yeah,
Would you
absolutely.
do you ever see yourself going to therapy, or you think the way that you got it is the way that you got it?
Well, I'll say this: I'm not against therapy. Um, to be honest, me and her, we actually went to a therapist, and we went to a Christian therapist, for a little bit.
Mhm.
And we were supposed to follow through, but of course we didn't follow through because she ain't want to. But I was paying for the session, you know what I mean? But I'm not against it. Like, I never went for myself though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Am I against it? No. But am I going to go out my way to go there? No. But
Go out your way. So, like, what would have to happen for you to be like, damn, I need therapy?
uh, see, that's a good question. It really would depend on how deep my situation is. Like, if I'm really in a tight bind where I just can't take it no, just, I don't know, if I feel like I'm about to off myself or put my hands on people and damage property, probably at that point it's like, okay, let me go talk to somebody.
But it has to get drastic, drastic.
Huh?
For you, it has to get drastic, drastic.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, it would have to be like so bad that I can't. I that I lose control of the situation. It's just like, okay, let me go talk to somebody.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
Quite.
Huh?
I said quite interesting, quite interesting.
Yes. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Well, I mean that answered the question that I wanted to know because this episode is called "Cry in Private," and so I wanted to know what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, and just
Yeah,
Yep.
it feels. I mean, of course, when you're angry and upset and you're crying, it. Of course, it doesn't feel good. But once you let it all out, you know what I mean. You scream. I don't know. Like, I would even go far as to, like, go to a park where there's nobody there, like at night and just scream. You know what I mean?
You've done that before.
Um, no, I thought about it though. I thought about it. I mean, I just went to my closet. Whether, what I'm saying, like, whether you go to a mountaintop by yourself and you scream and let it out, or you go as intimate as your room closet. You know what I'm saying? You got your sneakers there. You got your dress clothes there, and you just let it out. You know what I mean? Like, it all does the same thing. You know?
Yeah, I'm sure everybody has their own ways of letting it all out. Whichever way is done in a healthy way that ain't hurt nobody, that ain't hurting themselves, then
Right.
that's the way to cry.
Yes, ma'am. Indeed. Indeed.
Cole, I really appreciate the conversation. I don't want it to go this that much longer. I'm sure there's many other things we can talk about because we do. And this is just the first of many that we're gonna talk about.
Indeed.
So let me give you a shout out though, because you are an amazing saxophone player. Did I know you have your music somewhere? Did you want to put it up there? Put it out there for people to know where to find your music?
As of right now, I don't have anything out just yet. But in let's just say in forthcoming conversations, I'll definitely have something up by the next time we speak.
All right, cool. We just we gonna leave it at that,
Yeah,
boy.
we're gonna leave it at that.
It's all good. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate the conversation,
Yes.
and we will talk again soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me. It was a blast.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was an amazing conversation. I pray you enjoyed it. I love kicking it with people, talking about different experiences. This is the first of many on the Lips and Language podcast, where we talk everything about life, love, and language. I'm a poet and author by trade, and I just love getting into storytelling. Y'all, if you have heard my story, want to read my story, you can hit up my website, lipsandlanguage.com. I've been through an incredible journey, and now my goal is to heal the hearts of mankind, and I'm gonna do it one story at a time. I'm gonna do it one poem at a time. Like, my goal is to really show a lot of love out here for situations, because there's people out here and they need to hear different perspectives. And so thank you so much for showing up, and I'll see you on the flip side.